Hola, buenos días.
I had a Santa Claus came last night.
Yes, I know.
Well, it was
And
weird
elf,
because I waited all afternoon. Usually FedEx is here in the afternoon.
5:30, they said.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Because
they
I
sent
looked
me
out
an
there and I
email.
looked out there and I looked out there and I thought, oh well, maybe it'll be here tomorrow.
You
And
find
this
it
morning I
this
got up,
morning.
I looked out and I said, oh look, there's a box out by the gate. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Sure.
Now you have
Este,
a
you
material
check.
there to get through.
What's that?
You have a bunch of material there to get through.
And I'm still only on page 70 of The Disappearance of the Universe. So
It picks up.
No, it's just for your own time and for your own pleasure. It's for your own joy. The pen drive. I noticed it had other materials. Most of them I enjoy, but you just check them one by one, and they're so in Spanish. I'm sorry, but they were there. The one in Spanish were mine.
yeah,
Were the conference that I did. So I didn't check them one by one,
it's fine.
but that's for you to do. And then you
Yeah,
enjoy whatever you enjoy and do whatever you want to do with it. But just
thank
have
you.
fun.
Yeah.
Have fun with it, you know?
Well, I'll look into getting these DVDs copied, and once I
I
do,
don't
then
need
I'll...
them. I don't need them. I don't need them.
You don't think
Yeah,
you'll want them for somebody else like me that's going to come along?
it's been so long since I had them, and you're the first time
Okay.
the first one that can enjoy them really and appreciate them without, I'm telling you, in these 5, 6 years, I've been here by myself without sharing the course with anybody but Astrid. And maybe my daughter, or a bit with my youngest son that lived with me for a while, so he had to, listen to it because I was listening. And when I listen, I listen out loud because I'm doing other things
Sure.
while listening. So it's like a moving meditation because I seem to be doing one thing, but I'm really on another place.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't worry about that. If
Okay,
it
well,
shows
they're
up,
here.
yeah, if they show up. If not, I will go and pick them up myself, maybe in 30 years' time.
Okay, well, I got an extra room, and
That'll be a nice excuse to go and visit when my time here is over. I will
yeah,
call you like, Daddy, you remember the
yeah,
DVDs? Now
yeah, yeah, of
I'm
course.
going to cash in on them.
Yes, please do, please do.
Let's
Yeah.
just have fun today. And don't forget tomorrow to have fun too with whatever. That's the invitation. We are worthy of being happy and being happy with everybody and with everything, and to learn to laugh to all this craziness with love. And of course, to do that, we cannot take ourselves too serious at all, because the first thing that we have to laugh at is our self-concept, which is the one that in turns brings us all that is not happiness. Taking care of the self-concept, doing things to protect this body, doing things for the future, having to try to have perfect relationship with everything and everybody. That is, and now we can rejoice that we have seen that, and that we can look at it in another way and know for true that that will benefit the whole creation. That is, and that is not a small position to be in. So we must be grateful and happy about what. So that's my contribution for today. I will see you tomorrow.
Did I
Are we
read the-
reading the lesson?
Sí. Tengo aquí. We are on lesson 325.
You can
Oh.
read in Spanish if you want. I'm
Yeah, I'm
following
with you.
along.
Yeah, I was gonna say just that.
¿Qué? ¿Lo lea en
Que la
español?
lea en español. Debemos serle fieles a nuestros videntes anteriores.
I don't know if I remember how to read in Spanish.
Oh, please.
We're with you. We're with you. We're
Okay,
cheering for you.
la lección 325. Todas las cosas que creo ver son reflejos de ideas. Esta es la clave de la salvación. Lo que veo es reflejo de un proceso mental que comienza con una idea de lo que quiero. A partir de ahí, la mente forja una imagen de eso que desea. Lo juzga valioso y por lo tanto procura encontrarlo. Estas imágenes se proyectan luego al exterior, donde se contemplan, se consideran reales y se defienden como algo propio de uno. De deseos de mente nace un mundo de mente y de juicios un mundo condenado. De pensamientos de perdón, en cambio, surge un mundo apacible y misericordioso para con el Santo Hijo de Dios, cuyo propósito es ofrecerle un dulce hogar en el que descansar por un tiempo antes de proseguir su jornada, y donde él pueda ayudar a sus hermanos a seguir adelante con él y a encontrar el camino que conduce al cielo y a Dios. Padre nuestro, tus ideas reflejan la verdad, mientras que las mías separadas de las tuyas tan solo dan lugar a sueños. Déjame contemplar lo que solo las tuyas reflejan, pues son ellas las únicas que establecen la verdad. Todas las cosas que creo ver son reflejos de ideas. Amén. En English is all things I think I see reflect ideas.
Sí.
Eso va con lo que estabas diciendo.
See, that's a beautiful invitation for us to open our hearts and try to be at peace with the fact that we are an idea in the mind of God. Any possible way that we can approach that conviction within us, we will help. It will help us go through life without feeling a victim or being a witness of its misery. Because as easily in every second we can judge with the Holy Spirit and be a witness to the joy of the love of God without feeling, without being not helpful in the world, because we're not turning our backs on anybody or anything, but our attitude will reflect something that is not of this world.
Mm.
And we will be more efficient than if we were moving from a state of fear, lack, or any egoism, or yeah, it's at this point we have been witnessed that, we have been shown that we can do that with everything. So why would not do it? Yeah, it's the most beautiful way to pass through this stream, which is a very short passage. And as we go in and we spend more time within the Holy Instant, and I think we three know that the Holy Instant doesn't require that I be silent or without talking or without doing anything. When I am doing whatever I'm doing with that state of peace and love and gratitude, I notice that I am not conscious of time. And all of a sudden, you're seeing how time is flying, literally flying out of our grasp. And we don't worry about time as we used to do, because we're getting more comfortable in that part of our mind that belongs to eternity. And that's a beautiful process that we can be witness to without stopping from engaging in activities of the world, because we all have families and we have shit to do here, and we will do it, It's starting to rain. Está
Okay.
cayendo agua. I'm going in. So you keep on talking. Take the microphone, Astrid.
The microphone. I don't have much to add to that. It's perfect what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we can't confuse ourselves with the form. That's what we're trying to overlook.
What part of Egypt you were yesterday?
I was in Saqqara. I think it's called Saqqara. It's a beautiful, I was watching a documentary yesterday. It's on Netflix.
That's where they have the large columns by the Nile.
No, it was a documentary about a tomb that was found in 2018.
Ah, okay.
But what was beautiful was, I mean, the whole thing is just beautifully filmed, and they have these beautiful aerial shots, and they go in, and it seems very intimate because they go they're following the whole team, the Egyptian team that are excavating the site, and you see how proud they are that they're the everyone there is Egyptian, and they bring in different experts when they find something, and you see how excited and joyful they are. And I liked watching how they interacted, because the camera was there while they were excavating, and they were always giving blessings to each other. And they, at some point when they were starting to excavate one site, they made a prayer. They were very respectful. There was one, they brought in one expert, and she was an expert on bones, and it was beautiful, her just watching her and explaining her. It was more of a spiritual experience for her than
No, lovely.
it was very lovely. It was very different than other documentaries that I've seen.
No, and your experience clearly shows me that you're getting to a state when you can immerse yourself in a loving way with what you're seeing and make it part of your experience and have a beautiful experience with a shitty documentary, you know?
Yeah, it's like, the point is that I know the documentary, it was in form is beautiful, but the theme is, it doesn't seem like it's a spiritual.
No, it's your experience what is changing.
But the experience was very beautiful, and
I'm glad.
I really like, and the excitement that every time that they found something, they had these key anthropologists, and each one had their own speciality. And there was one that was her speciality was zoology, and I guess what she studied, like the animals that were mummified. That was her thing. So they found a chamber full of mummified cats, and then they found one huge, and they were like, this is not a cat, we don't know what this is. So they brought it to her, and they did the x-rays right there, and they were, and
Yeah,
her,
but the high point is that you were enjoying. That's
I know, see, I was connecting with their joy.
I
with
would love
their-
you to see Pocahontas and feel the same way.
Okay.
Because there's
What
no
was it?
What was
The
it? It was, it was a lion cub. It's the first mummified
Okay.
lion cub that has ever been found. And the excitement on her face, like she
Yeah.
was so excited when they finally said this is a lion cub, because they had never found one. And she's an expert on, I guess, the religious part of them with the cats, and the zoology and anthropology. And it was beautiful, the whole interaction.
Lovely.
So, And it has a lot of aerial shots and yeah.
Ahorita, Angélica.
No, someone trying to sell me something. Y después me puse a ver, and then after that, and last night I started to watch this series on extraordinary houses around the world. So I traveled yesterday. I traveled all over the world. I was in Egypt. I was in Spain. I was in Jerusalem, in Miami.
Yeah, I seen that too.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
So last night I did a tour of extraordinary houses all over the world.
Lovely. What you were doing, Gary?
Reading Disappearance of the Universe.
For
No,
giving
actually,
Gary
I watched Cuba and the Cameraman.
I bet you enjoyed that a lot.
It was very nice, yeah. And I recalled while I was watching it, you asked me the other day which hotel I stayed in. And last night I remembered. And this morning,
It's not really important.
yeah, this morning
all
it's not
know.
here. But yeah, it was a sweet movie, you know, just and the photographer, the guy that did this, the John, he's just a simple man, you know, and he just seemed to extract pleasures from the most simple things in the Cuban life, the people, and
Yeah.
so, and you know, of course, seeing Fidel, and I know there was a lot of mystery around when he actually passed, so it was nice to kind of visit that component of Fidel's life. And the one of the time periods, 2000 to 2001, was when I was telling you that the Biennale was there, and so he actually was there, not during the Biennale per se, or he didn't actually feature it, but it was nice to see Cuba when I was there the first time, the same year. So yeah, it was lovely.
Yeah, usually brings you back to memories that you want to revisit in a new light.
Yeah.
In the light that you're now. You know, be grateful for that opportunity. And now that you can revisit those memories that come with the views and the stories. You can see any regret or any resentment or anything that has, you know, it's shown to you in a new perspective, and you can be at peace with it right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the rest of my evening was, I don't know, I was called right before bed. I was called to just sort of, I'm having some pain in my body, and the pain seems to be a sort of gateway in to understanding forgiveness, or at least doing like an inquiry on forgiveness. So I sat on the edge of my bed last night, and I guess for the last couple of years, on and off, I use a pendulum as a way into guidance. And I've come to understand, what I've understood about it is that it's really about the question that seems to become more important. So the time that I spend is really being quiet, being still for the question. Because I found that with a pendulum, it's only yes or no questions. You can't ask. And so when you're sitting there trying to get some clarity on forgiveness in a yes-no context, there's not a lot of information available perceptively, until I just sit quietly, and then all of a sudden questions start to reveal themselves. And you know, I've got to take Advil to go to sleep at night. And so just trying to understand my relationship or the relationship with this body in terms of forgiveness, and not from a cause and effect sort of way, you know, but again, just understanding it from a perspective of forgiveness. So that was also part of my evening.
Yeah, our experience has been that as we become more peaceful and more quiet, the body breaks.
The body what?
Breaks, pain.
Breaks.
Yeah, any kind of suffering from the body comes along when you are not engaging in judging people or situations or whatever. Still, the ego has a way of coming in and showing us body discomfort or illness, even like it could range from a swollen knee or a back pain or a tooth or a head, or it could be like a rash, or you just being disoriented and dizzy and nauseous, or having diarrhea, or having symptoms in your stomach. I mean, the ego will explode when you're for a time at peace and quiet. And yeah, you can do whatever you feel that you need to get comfort in the moment. But you wanna, the question will be to the pendulum, is this coming from my body or is this a projection of my mind? Those are two questions you can ask. And you don't have to ask them because eventually you will know. This feels so real because the ego is so convincing because I gave it the power to be convincing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I can deal with I'm not asked to feel pain. But you will have to be honest with yourself and ask yourself, what is the purpose of this at this moment? Because it will come to your mind that it has been told to us since the court's metaphysics, and we know that these are just tools. None of this is real. But the explanation for the course is that the script is written. But it's written on another level. It's not written like you guys are choosing to feel in pain. For my experience, and you will have to figure it out for yourself, with your higher self, because this is different for everybody. My experience is that since I come from a long standing of not really relying in the medical profession for anything, or at least for most of the things, when I was in excruciating pain, I just decided to stay with the pain. Not because I was afraid of doing anything else, but because for me, it seems the right thing to do at the moment. And I wasn't too fearful of staying with the pain. And yeah, the pain goes away, and eventually you don't pay too much attention to it. And now it comes and goes. Like 2 days ago, when we talk about tennis, my 2 knees got swollen and it hurt walking. But I didn't pay attention to it. You know, I knew that it was coming from an association of previous pain that I had when I played tennis. And it was just, it always is the same thing, because eventually you will come to see that everything is only to keep you from the present moment. And the choice is always to choose the present moment. It doesn't matter what kind of distraction. And eventually you will know that choosing the present moment will give you the answer to whatever specific thing you have to do. And will be with you. It will be with you even if it is a hectic situation where you seem to be acting like in automatic because it's kind of like an emergency.
Mhm.
But since you have shown the present moment, you will see that you are so guided that you don't have doubt. There's no time for doubt. And you will see it in retrospect. And then you will be grateful because you knew that the Holy Spirit was there with you.
Sí.
It becomes a process of trusting and trusting and trusting in that eternal reality. That it becomes more real to you that even your body or the bodies of your loved ones or whatever is happening.
Mhm.
And you know that you can use that inspiration to embrace everything.
Yeah, I think that was part of what initially happened was that, you know, I was getting ready for bed and all of a sudden I felt this sort of calling, if you will, to just be still for a moment. And, you know, in that stillness, there comes information. And at some point, all of a sudden, I just felt like there was nothing there left available. Like it just went silent. It's like, okay, that's all for tonight. And I'm the same. I mean, I reach for aspirin as a very last resort, and I don't do the medical profession at all. And so consequently, yeah, you live with certain projections in the body instead of trying to have them fixed by something outside of oneself. So yeah, it was I don't usually end my day that way.
Yeah, some things will change, but they will become the same eventually.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you see it as part of the healing process, you welcome it nicely. And you deal with them with love. Because now the purpose they have has been changed to bring you home.
Mm-hmm.
And home is a great destiny, you know?
Yeah.
And home can be now, always. And when you have that, you can use any pain to bring you home in the moment. And you won't feel the pain. That you know that it's there, but it will not anguish you, nor get you desperate or fearful. You will just watch it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's many, many ways of showing us that we are ready to accept that we're spirit. And that notion that we have to wait until the body dies to be happy in the spirit is completely undone. If I'm not happy now, it's because I am choosing it. And I don't have to start blaming anything for my decision not to recognize what I am. It gets as simple as that. If you want to be truly honest with yourself.
Right.
And that's what brings you constant happiness, because it's not a happiness dependent on what the body has or what the body has done or what the body will do.
Yeah.
And that's equally applicable to all the bodies in the world.
Yeah.
The ones that you love and the ones that you seemingly hate. And then you will get to a moment when you see that there's no love and there's no hate. There's only reality or non-reality. And you will prefer reality over non-reality, I'm telling you, for sure. When you see it that way, it's a nonsensical answer.
Yeah.
Of course. Why not?
Yeah.
And then peace and joy will come in the moment. And it's like an instrument. You play it more and more and more, you become an expert. Actually, this morning I was watching Astrid. If you want to check it, it's very nice. It's called Voice of Fire.
Voice of Fire.
Exactly. They are in Virginia. They're trying to make a gospel chorus.
Chorus.
Ajá, pero de gospel, pero integrated.
Okay.
Like taking homosexuals, whites, reds, you know, black, any
Diversity.
color, any size, and they're trying to integrate. So the purpose of the chorus is to make something integrated as diverse in culture and looks and everything. Nonetheless, it ended up being like 75% black because don't matter how they try, those people have those crazy voices.
Sí.
That are literally, but it was beautiful because they are aspiring to make this diverse gospel chorus to bring the experience of God through music.
Oh, wow. Qué bello.
Sí, yeah.
Is that a documentary?
It's like a show. Yeah, it has several chapters, but they are all beautiful, and you will love the characters in them, and there are a couple of stories of, revivals and stuff that people are going through the wars, and then,
Sí.
Is it on Netflix or something, or is it?
Sí. It's on Netflix. It's Voices of Fire.
Okay.
So I say, well, I never seen anything like this. Let's go into this. And
That's the type of thing that I think I'm gonna love. I'm gonna like that.
Yeah.
Yo lo voy a poner. I'm gonna look for it. I'm supposed to connect with today David starts a Spanish retreat.
Okay, so
I don't think the first session he's gonna be there. It's gonna be Marina, Ana Cecilia,
all
Ana
right.
Paola.
Nice.
So those are our. I didn't know that they had that retreat, and yesterday when I connected, they.
So you ¿cómo se llama esto? ¿Te inscribiste?
I registered because those are much cheaper than the English ones. The English.
You slicky one.
How much cheaper?
They're $50 for the
Get
Spanish.
out of here.
So that would be a nice way for you, Gary, to learn Spanish too, if you're interested.
Yeah, well, it's in English anyway, so yeah.
Well, the thing is that when David is not there, they don't translate the Spanish. So, yeah, but it's still, I mean, he does several sessions. So out of 5 sessions, I think he does 3 at $50. You still have to listen to the Spanish part, because he speaks and then Marina speaks.
But she only translates, right?
I'm sorry?
She only translates? Marina,
when David is there, just translate, but she also, in the past ones that I've seen, she participates on the first session with Ana Paola and Ana Cecilia, and it's all in Spanish. So they have her teaching, but
she overwhelms me. I have a really hard time sitting with Marina. It's just like, it's just all that energy and all that talking and all that. I'm like, oh, stop, just slow down, please, hon. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Maybe later. That happens to all of us.
Yeah.
And then it gets to a point where you can accept anything but you have to be patient with yourself.
Yeah.
And wait for the moment. And if you find something that is really not resonating with you, you just don't do it. But my experience now is that I can hear a lot of people trying to share about the course and just feel love for them. And I am grateful because before I was like, no way, Jose. I'm not gonna listen to your shit. It's not needed. You know, I'm grateful that I had the quickest and the clearest of the teachers, and I got there very quickly, and you're still pretending that you know. So that was my attitude before, and now I'm grateful because I'm telling you, it's really, really, really a great and almost relief when you can see everything forgiven.
Yeah.
So when we are criticizing and judging, we think that we are justified in doing it, and we don't experience the pain.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get to the other place and you just don't feel like judging, you get to a joy and a loving state that you're very grateful for it. And that will happen, you know.
Yeah.
The sooner the better.
No, but I understand what you say, because I had a couple of retreats past. I connected, and it was Marina, Ana Paola, and Ana Cecilia, and I was having so much judgment. That weekend I was just sick. It was horrible. I had a horrible time because I knew what was happening, and I experienced full on the pain of the judgment, and finally I was able to get to the forgiveness, and I did share with them on the last session. I was like, I have had a terrible time during this weekend retreat. The judgments and the pain was coming up so strong for me, but thankfully I was able to get to the other side. But I understand what you're saying, and we don't have to force ourselves. We don't have to make ourselves do something. I would just shut, there was one session that I just shut it off. I thought, why am I torturing myself? I don't have to do this.
Yeah, well, that's what I did when the last one with Marina. I just shut it down. It was just too much energy, and I've been that way with that kind of energy in my life. I've shared this before with you guys, where people who just seem to be a little untethered from their grounding, and they're just like in their heads, and they're just rambling. I don't know how to stay present with it. So
don't worry.
Yeah, no.
All is perfect. Just make sure that you're at peace with that. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
So that's what I'm supposed to be doing. Let's see what happens.
So maybe I should just keep seeking Marina out every chance I get.
No, she will appear. I had that same feeling with David the first time that I saw his videos. Adriana, she was the one that introduced me to David, and she was like, "Oh, you should see this guy." And I put on a video. I didn't last 5 minutes. I was like, "Oh no, I can't with this boy. I can't with this."
It takes her like 2 years to accept any suggestion that I do.
Oh. Yeah.
2 years to read the course, 2 years to read I got it in a couple of years to get a debut of Meister. But already she gets it. And then she's laughing.
Yeah.
I don't want to laugh.
Yeah. But I picked up, there was an exception to that, which is Ken Wapnick. I didn't know what he was talking about, but.
Yeah, it was like Krishnamurti when we shared Krishnamurti. That we didn't know fuck, but when we read it, we felt like we were slapped so badly that we had no choice to feel dumb and happy. Which is really what we're doing right now. And this was like 20 years ago. I don't know.
I had the opportunity to sit with Krishnamurti once, and this was years ago in Ojai. And he was another one that you sat there and you listened, and it's like I hear the words. I hear the sound. I hear the words. I have no idea what the fuck he's saying. No idea. He was such an intellectual.
But we sit through it. Because there's
Yeah,
something
no,
that
absolutely.
it's talking to us on a different level.
Yeah.
I remember I would read Krishnamurti and I would read one sentence. The same thing would happen with the course. I would read one sentence and be like, yes, and then I would forget. I would wait, what?
Yeah, or you read one sentence and you go, huh?
Yeah.
And you go back and read it again. Yeah.
But nothing is lost really when you recognize that the mind is the one that is learning and it's all one. By you just showing up and having that book on your hands, the spirit was already making the internal cleaning that has to be done.
Sí.
Prepare ourselves to be more conscious of what we're doing, why we're here, what is our part, and to access to us the happiness and the joy and the comfort that we were looking always in material things and in relationships that only were excuses to attack other people. And now we can, honor those relationships and heal with them and comprehend in a level that requires it requires literally no effort on our part.
Mm-hmm.
And that is so beautiful, so overwhelming, and so expansive that only when you feel it, you're grateful. That's it.
Yeah.
And then you don't want to for what? For winning an argument against
The
whom?
beauty of being right.
No.
Mm-hmm.
¿A qué hora empieza tu retiro?
Ahora.
What time does your whatever starts?
It's supposed to start now.
Ay, qué bello. It's supposed to start now.
See, but they're not going to say anything that I already don't know.
You don't give a fuck. How beautiful.
I'm flowing. No.
Yeah.
You start to realize that it's just a repetition and sort of just reinforcement, and it's just an opportunity to see love and to extend love. And I just noticed that
If you connect to Angelica, please ask her because Angelica might know how to. Because I don't think that they ever put in YouTube the sharings that are not with David.
Okay.
At least they have not shown in the 3 channels that I have for the community.
The sharing.
If something shows, I know it's there, and when I have my time to listen to the shit, then I listen on my time. What I haven't seen, and I know that for several retreats now, he has left the first session to others than him, which I think that it was, due in time that he started to put others to share their things too.
See, so that's what the first.
Angelica, I think she will have a way of telling me where I could access those sessions. Because it will be interesting,
See.
But it has been lovely also to see the people that okay, let me put this into context for Gary. When I started the course, I saw it first announced and I made a call and they told me that it costed $800. And at that time, I didn't have any money.
It was the people who were doing
I thought that it was like an institution that you were and you know. So After that, maybe 2 years after that, I was going through a process of rebirthing, and I had like an inner calling that there was something for me to do that I wasn't doing, and I moved in that direction more or less consciously. And then everything started to fall. My job, my house, I had to send the kids with the father, a whole process. Este, but for a long time, my friend told me, well, let's do the course. But I say, I don't have $800. He looked at me and he laughed and he said, it's a fucking book and it costs $30. You're really? It's been there all this all this time. Entonces we went and we got it. It was the only copy that was in the whatever in the store. So it was for me. It was waiting for me there. So we started doing the lessons, and I don't know, I could not read the text at all because the associations with the names, I already said that. But after 6 months of finishing the first year of the lessons, I really felt that it had done something for me that I wanted more of.
Mm.
So I had given the course book to my brother who was having a lot of pain here in Ponce. He was kind of an addict, a functioning addict. And he was here by himself. So I brought the book to him, but I came back to pick it up because he told me that he
Couldn't read
couldn't
it.
open it. And I really needed to do that again. So then I started, and then I got his book, and I was given two DVDs of Ken's conferences. One was Walking with Jesus, and the other was este, uh, Living of Judgment or
Sí.
something like that. So only those two books and those two conferences I had for like 5 or 6 years. And that was the only thing that I studied. That's why I read The Disappearance for 10 times. Because it was the only material that was available for me. I was broke here in my mother's house. I didn't know what I was doing here. I had sold everything, and my kids were even with me. O sea, I had like abandoned everything and ended up in the last place that I would have chosen to be. Then when this last husband that I had that came like in 1 year after Ken died. And it was very comical because I said, oh, Ken died, I couldn't, I didn't have the means to meet him. But then like just in January after that, in 14 maybe, this guy that I used to know from San Juan came over to bring me Ken Wapnick's books. And he didn't even know anything. He just came to the door. And then I was very appreciative of those books. It came like from nowhere. So I called him. He lives in Rio Grande. And I said, thank you. I really appreciate that. And if you ever want to come to visit, you're welcome. So next thing I know, he's planning to come and visit. And on the way, he asked me, where do you want us to have our wedding? So I said, what the fuck is this? What have I done for you to think that I'm even attracted to you or that I want anything with you? And he said, well, you tell me that you love me. Well, and I say, Antonio, I tell everybody that I love them. Haven't you seen? Because I used to work with a farmer's market. So I had a lot of relations and stuff, and he saw me hugging and loving everybody. Like, but I don't know why he took it onto himself. So through him, he was retired, he had a pension, so he came to live here. He lived for 4 years. And during that time, through his means, then it came all the conferences of Ken, all the other books from Ken, and all the material, the copying of the material, me devoting the time to just diving in and going through the internet and finding other teachers of the course and seeing what everybody was doing and go through that process of this motherfucker doesn't know shit. This one does. This one is lost. This one, his ego is directing the way, kind of going on with that. Judging. And then I had the opportunity to teach the course with the group that was here, and all of that happened like in those 4 years. And this was like until 18. So it's very recently. So in these 2 last years, the process had been so quick that now I can see everybody and I see how everybody has progressed in their way, that all of them, or at least the ones that are brought to me, because there's a channel like Mente, whatever, ¿cómo se llama? Mente. They have a lot of teachers of the course from different parts of all Latin speaking and even English speaking and even German.
German, they translate them.
So they continuously keep on putting, and I, like 2 months ago, I started like, let me hear this. Yeah, wow. And let me hear that one. And let me hear that. All were beautiful surprises that everybody was getting it.
Sí.
How that happened, I don't have an idea. Am I grateful? You bet I am.
Yeah, feels like a speed up. It's all of a sudden there's all of these representations in the world, all these teachers, and there's a clarity.
Yes.
And so, but at the same time, when we can, we're at a point where we can accept everything, and everything is beautiful, and we don't have to judge anybody that's more advanced or is less advanced. Like, we're starting to get, for at least for me, I'm starting to get that there isn't really any levels, and everybody is perfect where they're at, and that seeming timeline doesn't really exist. People are always bringing exactly what they need to bring to me, for me, and in that I'm super grateful.
Yeah.
I don't have to go into any kind of judgment, because once I get into a judgment, then I miss the gift.
Exacto.
No solamente.
Espectacular.
Spectacular.
Sí. Yeah, I just got a text from Gebeu, my stepdaughter, asking if we're going to celebrate Thanksgiving, and I was like, I wasn't even thinking about that. That seems like a whole lot of effort.
No kidding. Just be grateful every day.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't have to do a turkey just to be grateful.
I don't like turkey anyway.
Me neither.
Last year I made a pernil.
Wow.
Con
arroz con gandules, yo me acuerdo.
Sí, I made a pork, a roast. Because I don't like turkey. And then we have this all this, and I thought, why do I have to make turkey? Why? This isn't even my holiday.
Right.
I'll make whatever I want.
Pizzas. Yeah.
But I'm here. Last year my dad was here, and Guerrero was here, and Viram, and yeah, Thanksgiving was.
Now it's you and the kids only.
Sí. And they don't care.
Go to the movies.
They don't care.
And have pizza, like Gary said. They will
Yeah.
enjoy it more.
Yeah.
My dad's not here. My dad is in North Carolina. And they're going to all get together. And I was like, please don't tell me, because it's going to be a big thing. People coming from other places. And I'm like, don't you guys know there's a pandemic? And at that, you know, I had the idea. I'm like, it's not my problem.
Yeah. It's true. It's true.
Bueno, pues tengo
Yeah.
I need to go drink some more coffee. I don't need to, but I want to.
Enjoy it.
And I'm going to connect with las muchachas, with Ana Paola, with Marina. And I will forgive Marina for you, Gary.
Thank you so much.
I will
Thank
do
you so much.
extend the love at some point.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you. Thank you both.
Thank you
Have
so
a beautiful day.
Yeah. Have a
Los
great
amo.
day. Love you.
Love
Love you too.
Bye.
We should get married.
Let's get
You already proposed. We will not forget that. Don't ever think that we're gonna forget it. One day we will both appear in your door. Well, we're here. What's about it? In the meantime, have fun and be happy,
Yeah.
all right?
Exacto.
Absolutely. You too. Bye-bye.
Los amo.